Please rise for the commencement processional.
Welcome to Auburn University's Spring 2017 Commencement Ceremony. We will begin our ceremony with the presentation of the colors. I ask that all gentlemen please remove your headdress for the presentation of the colors and during the national anthem. Please remain standing. March on the colors. Tyler Davis Piltz, graduating this spring with a degree in vocal music education and vocal performance, will lead us in singing our national anthem. He'll be accompanied by the Auburn University Graduation Band, conducted by Dr. Rick Good, Director of Bands.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Retire the colors. Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Auburn University's president, Dr. Jay Goosh.
Thank you. Good afternoon. This is certainly a great day in the life of Auburn University. It's a great day in each of your lives, and I feel honored to share it with you today. I want to formally welcome you to the Spring 2017 Commencement Ceremony. I'm going to introduce some members of the platform party. Others will be introduced throughout the program today. I'll ask those when I introduce you to please stand, remain standing, and I'll ask that you hold your applause until they've all been recognized. Mr. Bob Dumas, Board of Trustees, Dr. Timothy Boothsinger, Provost, Dr. Bobby Woodard, Vice President for Student Affairs, Ms. Gretchen Van Valkenburg, Vice President for Alumni Affairs, Ms. Jane DeFalco Parker, Vice President for Development, Mr. Grant Davis, Secretary of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Rip Britton, Board of Directors, the Auburn Alumni Association, Dr. Leah Rawls-Atkins, three-time Auburn alumna, and today's commencement speaker. She'll be formally introduced a bit later in the program. Mr. Lee Armstrong, General Counsel, Dr. Brian Conley, Master of Ceremonies, Professor in the Department of Management in the Raymond J. Harbert College of Business, Ms. Bonnie McEwen, Dean of Libraries, Dr. George Crandall, Associate Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Steve Duke, Associate Dean for Academics, College of Engineering. Dr. Stephen Taylor, Associate Dean, College of Engineering. Dr. Jeffrey Fergus, Associate Dean for Program Assessment and Graduate Studies, College of Engineering. Dr. James Goldstein, Chair of the University Senate and Professor in the Department of English. Dr. Pamela Ulrich, Graduation Marshal and the Under Armour Professor in the Department of Consumer and Design Sciences. Dr. Amy Wright, Mace Bearer, Associate Dean of Instruction, College of Agriculture. Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Wellborn, Commanding Officer, Air Force ROTC. Lieutenant Colonel Rashawn Steele, Commanding Officer, Army ROTC. Captain Willie Billingsley, Commanding Officer, Navy ROTC. Mr. Rick Smith, the graduation reader and a lecturer in the School of Communications and Journalism. Mr. Steve Geis, interpreter for the deaf from the Office of Accessibility. Several round of applause for these individuals. Thank you. At the very heart of any great university are your faculty, and our faculty have worked hard to prepare these candidates for graduation today. I would ask our faculty to stand up, and let's give them a round of applause. Faculty, please stand. Thank you. I'd like to ask the candidates for graduation to please stand. Candidates, stand up here. Candidates, I would ask you to say thank you to those that may have helped you along the way make this day possible, family and friends that may be here. So graduates, give them a round of applause. Please be seated. To our graduates, we're very proud of you. We value your determination, your sacrifice, your discipline, your intelligence, and that special spirit. You've earned a valuable degree that will help you both personally and professionally. Today you join a special family of Auburn graduates. Since our beginnings in 1856, we've awarded 314,000 degrees. This spring, at this commencement services, this weekend, we award 3,653 degrees at the doctoral, master's, and the baccalaureate level. Simply congratulations to each one of you, and War Eagle.
We are very privileged to have Leah Rawls Atkins join us today to deliver our commencement address. Dr. Atkins earned 3 degrees from Auburn, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctoral degree, all in history. And in fact, she was the first person to earn a doctorate in history from Auburn, which she received in 1974. Before and during her time at Auburn, Dr. Atkins was a champion water skier, both on the national and international stage. She was the first woman to serve as a judge for the American Water Ski Association, as well as the first woman on the governing board. She was also the first woman inducted into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Each year, Auburn's most outstanding female athlete is honored with the Leah Rawls Atkins Award. After receiving her degrees from Auburn, Dr. Atkins taught history here at Auburn University, at Samford University, and at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. In 1985, she also served as the founding director for Auburn's Caroline Marshall Drone Center for the Arts and Humanities. She directed the center until her retirement in 1995. Dr. Atkins has maintained her relationship with Auburn, serving on the Auburn Library Development Committee, and she has also authored and co-authored several books and articles. Dr. Atkins is an inspiration to everyone, both in her academic and her athletic achievements. She's a pioneer and a true example of an Auburn woman. Please join me in welcoming her back to Auburn.
Thank you so much. Now I can see you. I'm so short. It's wonderful to be here today and to be here to celebrate your wonderful day. And I congratulate all of you, and I'll have a little more to say about that a little bit later. Auburn University, founded in 1856, has been coeducational only since 1892. This year we celebrate two events that changed the course of Auburn's history: the arrival of football and co-eds. 125 years ago, life changed forever on the campus of the state's land-grant college, which became Auburn University. One Auburn professor was involved with both of these historic changes. You know that professor. He's probably the only Auburn professor of the 1890s that you do know by name, because he is the one who wrote the Auburn Creed in 1943. Yes, Dr. George Petrie, Auburn history professor, Auburn's first football coach. On February the 20th, 1892, Coach Petrie led the first Auburn football team in a game against the University of Georgia at Piedmont Park. In this first historic intercollegiate football contest in the Deep South, Auburn defeated Georgia 10-0. 7 months later, on September the 13th, 1892, 3 women walked up the steps of Sanford Hall to take entrance examinations for admission to the junior class. This experiment in coeducation began when Dr. George Petrie requested that he be allowed to admit women to his Summer Teachers Institute. Later, Dr. Petrie supported women being admitted to degree programs. Later, Dr. Petrie supported women being admitted to degree programs. Later, he supported, President William Leroy Broome presented the trustees with a recommendation to support the beginning of coeducation at Auburn, and it was approved by the Board of Trustees. There were strict rules for these first co-eds, more strict than even Dean Cater had for women when I entered Auburn 61 years later. I took every history course I could because I loved history and I wanted to teach history. When I was within a quarter of graduation, Dr. Robert R. Ray, a brilliant scholar of British history, called me and recommended that I apply for a graduate assistantship in the history department and work on my master's degree. But he confided that on the form I had to fill out, there was one question that I had to answer correctly, and that question was simply, what do you want to do with a master's in history? Dr. Ray told me not to write that I plan to continue my education and earn a PhD, because there were men in the history department who did not believe women should teach history on the college level. I remember thinking recently that, and it was odd to me, that I was not in the least bit offended at that time. I remembered thinking that there were women on the faculty, but I never had a female professor except in PE, so I wrote down the truth. I wanted to be a good high school history teacher. I received the fellowship, and about 2 years later, my master's degree in history. However, before I signed a contract with the Auburn Public School System, the history department was shorthanded, and I was asked to teach freshman history. I taught off and on for about 8 years. Once, since Auburn had no PhD program, I traveled to Tuscaloosa and interviewed with Dr. Charles Summersell, who was chair of the history department at the University of Alabama. He offered me a graduate assistantship if I would come to Alabama. My husband, George, supported me in whatever decision I made, although he was very uneasy about that Tuscaloosa connection. And my parents offered both monetary and hands-on help with our 3 children, later 4 children. However, I decided that my children were more important at that particular time in their lives and mine. The youngest was not yet born, and the 4th one was not born yet, and the youngest one was 2. There were no interstate highways. The drive between Tuscaloosa and Auburn was long and very dangerous. 7 years later, the Auburn History Department began a doctoral program. I decided to enter, but not the first year. My children needed another year to become more self-sufficient. I also had to pass the graduate record exam. The second year of the Auburn PhD program, I started my doctoral classes. After I finished all my classwork, George took a job in Birmingham, and I began teaching history at UAB and then Samford University. I was also researching my dissertation. After 2 years, I delivered the first draft to my major professor, Dr. McMillan. He returned it to me at Samford a few months later, and I began working on his suggestions and his comments. My manuscript began the routine circulation of my doctoral committee. I had been off campus, away from the halls of Haley Center for several years, and I'd had no contact with other graduate students. So I was quite surprised to learn from Dr. McMillan that I would be the first doctoral student who completed all the degree requirements for the degree. My favorite Auburn story of these years is the one that President Harry Philpott recalled when he asked legendary veterinary medicine Dean James Green to admit women to the veterinary medicine. Dean Green responded that he would accept women, quote, when they could pick up a horse and put it on the operating table, end of quote. Based on that logic today, there must be some really strong women in veterinary medicine. Have you checked the male-female ratio on that campus? There are a lot more women out there. As one professor remarked recently, if it were not for women students, we might have to close down the vet college. Today, several women in the Auburn University History Department are well-polished scholars, wonderful teachers, and widely respected professors. I have traveled far on my improbable journey. To complete it, I had to work harder, use my time more efficiently, push myself constantly, learn to function with less sleep, go over notes and material many times. I had to locate quiet places to read and to study at home. In those years for me, movies and novels and TV had to be eliminated, but I still managed to drive my Boy Scout sons, Tim, Brian, and Jack, to hiking locations, saw that our daughter Laura Lee attended her friends' birthday parties, and with so much help from my husband George, Santa Claus still came to our house. Was it worth it? Yes. Would I do it again? Yes. In the beginning of this journey, George told me that he wanted me to have my PhD because if something happened to him, I could not support 4 children alone on a high school teacher's salary. I was very blessed that I never had to do that. It is a new world for all of us, and Auburn led the way in the state of Alabama in encouraging women to receive their degrees, sometimes more than once. Let me just remark that the University of Alabama did not admit women until after Auburn did. And everyone in the state, particularly in the governor's office, was very anxious to see how these young men on the Auburn campus and the co-eds would get along, and they did just fine. And so Tuscaloosa began coeducation. I congratulate you on your graduation for traveling that same path that I did and for completing your degree. You learned, as I learned many years ago, academics is just like athletics. The more you practice, the better you get. Your stories are different from mine, but in more ways they are alike. You had to sacrifice, work hard, discipline yourself, do without, and you had Auburn professors, as I did, who pushed you, challenged you, inspired you, and sometimes fussed at you. It is customary for the commencement speaker to give a graduating class a special charge. Mine is to remind you that you are now and will forever be part of the Auburn family. You will find new Auburn friends wherever you go. Just wear an Auburn shirt or a hat, and someone will greet you with a war eagle. My favorite encounters were in some very unlikely places, Austria, and Toronto. I urge you to stay in touch with your Auburn major professors and your favorite professors. They will always be interested in your successes, and you will surely need them for references, for jobs or graduate school, and perhaps for some professional advice. Stay close to Auburn. Come back when you can. Become a member of the Auburn Alumni Association. Be active. Read the Auburn magazine when it arrives in the mail. Contribute to Auburn with your time and your treasures. Join all of those many Auburn people who have loved Auburn as you do, have appreciated their education and the special friends that they made. Stay close simply because Auburn has given you the preparation for success and the best days of your life. Congratulations, War Eagle, hashtag go get 'em.
Thank you, Dr. Atkins, for those inspiring remarks. It is my pleasure to recognize several groups of students who are graduating with academic honors. First, I would like to recognize those undergraduates who are graduating with honors based on their cumulative grade point average. Students with a cumulative grade point average of 3.4 to 3.59 graduate cum laude. Would those candidates graduating cum laude please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Students with a grade point average of 3.6 to 3.79 graduate magna cum laude. Would our magna cum laude degree candidates please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Students with a grade point average of 3.8 and above graduate summa cum laude. Would our summa cum laude degree candidates please stand and be recognized? Thank you. 1979 marks the beginning of the honors program at Auburn University. In 1998, it became the Honors College. Honors College students graduate with distinction of University Honors Scholar or Honors Scholar. Would all of those candidates with that distinction, that have earned that distinction, please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Phi Kappa Phi is Auburn's highest all-disciplinary academic honorary, and members represent the top 10% of each college and school. Would all Phi Kappa Phi degree candidates please stand to be recognized? Congratulations. Please be seated. I would also like to recognize our military service members. Would all degree candidates who were commissioned previously into the military services please stand and remain standing? I now ask that all active service members and veterans in the arena today to please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Thank you for your service to our country. Would Dean George Flowers of the Graduate School please come forward?
Would Scott Martin please stand? On behalf of the faculty and the graduate school, I would like to introduce our student marshal, Scott Martin, who is receiving a Doctorate of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering. Scott is from Greenville, North Carolina. Now would all the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy please rise. Trustee Dumas, President Googe, and Provost Businger, on behalf of the graduate faculty, it is my pleasure to present these degree candidates for the conferral of their degrees.
Congratulations to all the graduates. By virtue of the authority vested in me as a member of the Board of Trustees of Auburn University, I do now confer upon each of you the doctoral degree to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations thereunto pertaining. War Eagle, congratulations. You may be seated.
The Doctor of Philosophy is the highest degree awarded in the Academy of Universities. Part of the tradition associated with the awarding of this degree is a special ceremony involving the presentation of a doctoral hood. Would the major professors of the doctoral candidates please escort your graduate to the stage to be hooded as Professor Smith calls their name. Members of the Registrar's Office will direct you to the stage.
Dr. Scott Martin, hooded by Dr. David Beverly. Dr. Bala Sundaram, hooded by Dr. Harish Kapoor. Dr. Candace Adams, hooded by Dr. Cheryl Seals. Dr. Zhuxiao Li, hooded by Dr. Seals. Dr. Kathy Bailey, hooded by Dr. Seals. Dr. Hernin Al-Abdul Razak, hooded by Dr. Anthony Skellum. Dr. Azdez Chermek, hooded by Dr. Dan Margitu. Dr. Timothy Farringer, hooded by Dr. Brian Thoreau. Dr. Jordan Richardson, hooded by Dr. Bogdan Wilimowski. Dr. Nirendra Sadrani, hooded by Dr. Sushil Adhikari. Dr. Jessica Kelly, hooded by Dr. Mark Byrne and Dr. Douglas Martin. Dr. Sri Dangal, hooded by Dr. Hanking Tian. Dr. Junxiao Wei, hooded by Dr. Pradeep Lal. Dr. John Pentikis, hooded by Dr. Richard Sessick. Dr. Xiaomao Li, hooded by Dr. Evans. Dr. Kong Zhao, hooded by Dr. John Evans. Dr. Joyanta Goswami, hooded by Dr. Virginia Davis. Dr. Michael Vertis, hooded by Dr. David Tim. Dr. Ying Lin, hooded by Dr. Daowei Zhang. Dr. Ben Wing, hooded by Dr. Fidel Maged. Dr. Zhengming Zhao, hooded by Dr. Wayne Johnson. Dr. Ping Zheng, hooded by Dr. Bruce Tartichuk. Dr. Atentia Shujan, hooded by Dr. Tartichuk. Dr. Hamid Mazigdada, hooded by Dr. Graham Lockaby.
Please join me in congratulating these new doctoral graduates. Would all the candidates for master's degree please rise? Trustee Dumas, President Googe, and Provost Businger, on behalf of the graduate faculty, it is my pleasure to present these master's candidates for the conferral of their degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as a member of the Board of Trustees of Auburn University, I do now confer upon each of you the master's degree to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations thereunto pertaining. Congratulations, and War Eagle, you may be seated. The graduates will come forward as Professor Smith calls your name, and members of the Registrar's Office will guide you. Congratulations.
Sarah Gustitis, Emily Moody, Megan Bartholomew, Andrea Wall, Chase Seals, John Lancaster, James Glass, Narendthiran Pari, Stephen Hammett, Ting Chong Huang, Sei Lu, Eru Su, Wei Chao Wang, Kai Yu, Amadou Barkiri, Jenna Shen, Akash Shetanawar, Garrett Faircloth, Gabriel Mantunde, Gabriel Priana Pena, Pankrit Darakan Nayuthya, Hugh Humphreys IV, Ping Cheng Li, Ryan Little, Changju Jian, Xiao Lu, Xiao Li, Hamid Gatinia, Jinta Camille Patel, Lester Lee III, Travis Gakowski, Jameson Matthews, Jessica Baker, Raina Chup, Blake Jacobs, Tyler Shira, Joshua Starling, Rebecca LaCourse, Beijia Zhang, Robert Healy, Jonathan Bolton, Shizu, Saya Maduri, Emily Bonts, Harchun Ban, Sumit Wilku, Ajink Nalawadi, Nikki George, Akshara Amuri, Joridi Meredfu, Xiao Yahu, Xijing Wu, Ya Li, Xingshu Zhou, Eng Kai Bi, Nansen Huang, Ming Nan Huan, Rahul Kher, Manjunath Gunter, Ramaswamy Mathur Kumar, Viraja Kola,
Please join me in congratulating our new master's graduates. We now come to the conferring of the undergraduate degrees. Mr. President, the deans of the colleges and schools will come forward and present the candidates who have been approved by the faculty for the appropriate undergraduate degrees. The candidates of each college and school will stand when presented and then be seated. Dean Christopher Roberts, Samuel Ginn, College of Engineering.
Would Joshua Michael Pasentino please stand? On behalf of the faculty of the Samuel Ginn College of Engineering, I'd like to introduce our student marshal, Joshua Michael Pasentino, who is receiving a degree in chemical engineering, a degree in biosystems engineering, and a degree in Spanish. Joshua is from Morris, Alabama. Would all degree candidates from the Samuel Ginn College of Engineering please stand? Trustee Dumas, President Gouge, and Provost Businger, on behalf of the faculty of the Samuel Ginn College of Engineering, it is my pleasure to present these students for the conferral of the bachelor's degree.
Please be seated. Dean Janaki Alavalapati, School of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences.
Would Marissa Pierluisi please stand? On behalf of the faculty in the School of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences, I would like to introduce our student marshal, Marissa Pierluisi, who is receiving a degree in wildlife sciences. Marissa is from Vestavia Hills, Alabama. Would all degree candidates from the School of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences please rise? Trustee Dumas, President Gouge, and Provost Businger, on behalf of the faculty in the School of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences, it is my pleasure to present these students for the conferral of the bachelor's degree.
Please be seated.
Before I ask the undergraduates to stand for the conferring of degrees, I would like to take just a brief moment for a trustee privilege to thank Dr. Gouge. This will be one of his last graduations, for his years of dedication, commitment, and leadership to Auburn University. So also his lovely wife, Susie, who means so much to this university. We just want to say thank you and Godspeed in your retirement, and thank you from the entire Auburn University family for what you have meant to this university. Will all candidates for the bachelor's degrees please stand? By virtue of the authority vested in me as a member of the Auburn Board of Trustees, I do now confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations thereunto pertaining. You may be seated. Graduates, you will now come forward by the college or school to be introduced as Professor Smith calls your name. Members of the Registrar's Office will direct you. Congratulations and War Eagle.
The School of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences, Dean Janaki Alabalapati, Marissa Pierluisi, Ethan Reese, James Gannan, Zachary Shane Dunning, Dallas Gentry, Truett Lawrence, Stathan Wilson, Cody Hartzog, Dyer Jones, Kyle Malone, Wilson Lowe, Grant Rutland, Nathan Williams, Stinson Thompson, Christopher Turner, Tyler Baxter, Noah Barcroft, Charles Cawley, William Cook, Jordan Heath, Rachel Womack, Dana Higgins, Tara Vick, Ben Holcomb, Samuel Morris, Sarah McWhorter, Laura Anna Rains, Holly Davis, Rachel Weiss, Chelsea Warner, Matthew George, Amy Johnson, Thomas Jernigan, Cara Wood, Amber Hall, Zena Smith, Forrest Bradley, Cedric Ellis, the College of Engineering, Dean Christopher Roberts, Joshua Passantino, Allison Sunderhaft, Adam Hauser, Stephen Mokulis, Kate Duke, Scott Kennedy, Catherine Browning, Garrett Payne, Jared Roberts-Moore, Sarah Grace Mitchell, Kelsey Henderson, Nidhi Goel, Joseph Harris, Coleman Bradwell, Samantha Blair, Austin Richard, Edgar Solis, Catherine McCutcheon, Sarah Head, Sarah Grubbs, Colin Benson, Jennifer Kasmerek, Jeffrey Lucas, Nathaniel Nally, Evan Hall, Jonathan Gill, Sidney LeMay, Daniel Stewart, Matthew Fenlon, Yukun Song, Ching Chang, Brindley Choate, William Bamberg, Riley Bass, Jacob Beckner, Lincoln Compton, Second Lieutenant Joshua Ando, John Sims, Gannon Ray, Christopher Marino, Sarah Grace Simpson, Michelle Luther, Elizabeth Byers, Ashaya Senri Vasson, Skylee Weld, Alexis Johnson, Samuel Allen, Brooks Lampkin, Christian McFarland, Chase Beard, Robert J. Holton, Kyle Paul, Claude Collier III, Trace Hudson, Joshua Donaldson, Daniela Mangieri, Hannah Marsh, Garrett Osbolt, Kaylee McCormick, Jessica Fitzpatrick, Victoria Luther, Jingyi Zhang, Danyang Huang, Hangdong Zhang, Ning Min, Christopher Thrasher, Austin Eversmeyer, Michael Voles, James Smith, Matthew Mabry Jr., Benjamin Reese, Andrew Wood, Jacob Swords, Stats Hoagland, Baylor Koch, Christopher Jadon, Elliot Consoli, Stuart Lang, Stuart McFarland, Melissa Millett, Blake Miller, Rodatu Simone, Matthew Summers, Aaron Christian, David Alderman, Matthew Daneman, Ji Yu Yang, Tao Jiang, Jonathan Arnold, Austin Handel, Meriwether Adams, Jason Stevens, Joshua Conley, John Cancela, Aaron Smith, Kendall Johnson, Jungin Kim, Avery Rains, Kalawale Balagu, Kent Thrash, Jonathan Teasdale, Stephen Leahy, Lee Waters, Brandon Powell, Erica Harless, Sybil Harvey, David Cushing, Brandon Booth, Garrett Sasser, Landon Kirkland, Michael Scott Piesco, Caitlin Sells, Christian Lloyd, Hudson Carr, Connor Halbrooks, Rachel Buchanan, Kirsten Failing, Jasmine Pollard, Maxwell Butler, Joel Ham, Chapman Howard, Kevin Namey, Zachary Weld, Philip Sawyer, Andrew Prickett, Stephen Chestnut, Ryan Haley, Aaron Hess, James Bridges Jr., Brett Cleary, Jeremiah Mitchell, Nathan Adams, Yemo Jim, Zihao Chen, Yirin Zhao, Bowen Chu, Yushan Mu, Tin Shi She, Jordan Davenport, Wesley Fall, Connor Harris, Christopher Myrick, Jonathan Box, Dylan Bell, Joseph Vincent, Courtney Jermaine Harris. Garrett Hutchins. Mason Shira. Corey Reed. Joshua Harvey. Amanda Skalitsky. Matthew Hard. Haley Marr. Nicholas Whiteley. Griffin Fisk. Luke Borowski. Jason Ball. Christine Ancrum. Catherine Williams. Meredith Singletary. Jordan Levesque. Kelly Hyder. Stephanie Edwards. Taylor Slota. Delaney Blue Caldwell. Michael Dusling. Connor Diamond. Camden Coe. Nicholas Colosi. John Conway. Rachel Helm. Ryan Pacer. Jasmine Woods. Edward Hill V. Caleb Wozniak. Jonathan Price. Alston Hyatt. Jacob Peter Clemenson. Alex Luderbach. Jacob Dickey. Craig Granger. Zachary Bonaker. Second Lieutenant Alexander Wright. Second Lieutenant Michael Parks. Second Lieutenant Alan Mueller. Mary Elizabeth Monday. Second Lieutenant Peter Atkinson. Second Lieutenant Corbin Baudet. Second Lieutenant Caleb Heaton. Second Lieutenant Ryan Erskine. Alexander Ogden. Ryan Thurman. Mingwei Zhuang. Lingxin Bu. Jun Dong. Wei Tian. David Sweet. Jacob Hansen. Daniel Cottrell. Matthew Asconis. Alexandria Haas. Matthew Terry Smith. Elliot Burrow. David Whitmore. Derek Jones. Garrett Jacobson. Ashley Garner. Sadie Holgan. Kathleen Reynolds. Cameron Stokes. Margaret Lem. Irvin Rivera. William Anderson. Jordan Lovell. Alexander Vanix. Jackson Reeves. Connor Kennedy. Demetrius Coleman. Joshua Cass. Aderoton Odotola. Terrence Beard Jr. Daryl Payne. Kaylin Cardinal. Meredith Ayers. Susan Ware. Samuel Gill. Alan Luvianos Diaz. Jacob Gober. Christopher Tinker. Patrick Bush. Jason Perot. James Snellgrove. Matthew Phillips. Christian Malden. Darian Lutton. Jessica Polk. Kathleen Brown. Molly Johnson. Alexandra Eno. Gavin Fuller. Catherine Gustafson. Thomas Stockhausen. Stuart McCauley. Brooke Jackson. Lee Robeson. Mark Gallagher Jr. Hannah Pruitt. Alexia Richardson. Sequoia Harris. Michael Shortong. Stephen Oliver. Jared Waters. Siobhan Desai. Jansen Lee. Garrett Hester. Victoria Maffa. Alyssa Fink. Taylor Bethay. Jordan Flatt. Joel Permar. Isadora Tavares. Laura Lacey. Helen Komlos. Priyanka Patel. Leanne Martins. Benjamin Hagopian. Matthew Jones. William Brookshire. William Sinecki. Joshua Stanley. Jamal Fondell. Todd Fittrell Jr. Heath Reed. Isaac Beamy. Trace Rudolph. Dennis Brown. Chadwick DuBose. Jonathan Ashworth. Davis Edwards. Brett Todd. Dylan Garner. David Hearn. Gray Carter. Alexander Schultz. Brian Otts. Patrick Davis. Thomas Hale. Sharon Calva. Jonathan Kuhn. Leo Richard. Hannah Reif. Richard Monell. Tyler Kane. Aaron Shear. Noah Crossfield. Charles Costas. Catherine Dabbs. Evan Owen, John Edmondson, Brittany Pierce, Jamie Daly, Bowen Dong, Cody Wright, David Walzell III, Thomas Hanson, Connor Feemster, Justin Carter, William Keaton, Franklin Edwards, Sidney Schultz, Tyler Pittman, Matthew Lloyd, Dinglong Lee, Clayton Ezel, Savannah Weaver, Nicole Testa, Hayden Madole, Devon Elder, David Butts Jr., Holland Powers, Johansi Stringfield, Casey Sneed Kent, Oren Galloway, Alicia Ashburn, Brady Watley, Dalton Chambly, Tanner Free, Jacob Campbell, Joshua Dunn, Stetson Nichols, Jackson Thomas, Preston Bray, Grady Wingard, Cliff Welch, Joel Evans,
Let's go, Joel.
David Wyndham, Brian McClendon, Adrian Aniaqueta, Stephen Atwood, Lydia Hergy, Maxwell Smith, Anna Shelton, Caitlin Hall, Cameron Dubois, Mary Claire Neighbors, Catherine Williams, Zachary Howell, Brian Fair, Wesley Sanders, Samuel Snell, Ensign Matthew McKinley, Ensign William Kinsley, Thomas Henry Baker III, Harrison Kenchler, Mason Wisham, Stephen Eimel, Connor Jones, Zachary Thompson, Zachary Chandler, William Williford, Michael Miller, Robert Croxon II, Martin Wang, Isaac Kagan, Chizhu Wang, Jay Whaley, Benjamin Ford, Jason Cox, Colton Walsh, Zachary Anderson, William Jobson, Jerome O'Driscoll, Rebecca Hebert, Zoe Dancer, Charles Thomas, Julian Jordan, Second Lieutenant Hunter Redmond, James Philly, Garrett Knight, Anna Quinn, Jessica Rice, Daniel Stubbs, John Balch, Kyle Solomon, William Moore, Victoria Stringfellow, Madison Rowling, Helen Sappington, Macy McGill, Alan Michael Sanders, John Payne, Andrew Manning, Langston Ma, Brent Reynolds, William Fritz, William Morrow, William Vatz, Andrew Peters, Austin Carlisle, Eric Turner, Michael Pierce, Connor Flynn, Kyle Kimmel, Luke Shattuck, Francisco Rivas, Roderick Carlton II, Christopher Reese, Timothy White, Matthew Revel, Cody Gullidge, John William Ashmore, Matthew Dotson, James Davis Brooks, Kevin Wozniak, Zachary Hughes, Gregory Leach, David Orison, Tomlinson Brooks III, Megan Suter, Nicholas Thompson, William Stewart, Ensign Dustin Spencer, Jonathan Linhart, Luke Compton, Cullen Lowick, Christy Reckart, Christopher Barnes, Reed Curlin, Josh Trammell, Alex Conrado, Jackson Vickers, Eric Holmes, Nathaniel Snow, John Fleming, Caroline Phillips, Hannalise Salzman, Claire Nagel, Elizabeth Bankston, Sarah Grace Miller, Ashley Kinsey, Alfreda Jeffords, Joshua Carroll, Blair Hopwood, Isaac Williams II, Samantha Daniel, Mary Zoka, Miles Bateman, Draper Rushing, Nicholas Burgess, Kelsey Jones, Xingyi Lu. Tyler Smith.
Graduates, you are now part of the Auburn alumni family. I'd like to welcome Mr. Rip Britton, who will bring you a word from the Auburn Alumni Association. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Britton.
Thank you, Dr. Conley. Good afternoon, graduates. Good afternoon, guests. And a special good afternoon to President Gouge on his final commencement weekend. I bring you greetings from the Auburn Alumni Association. And to our guests in the audience, if you're an alumni of Auburn, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Now, graduates, those people who just stood, who are those successful and good-looking people? They're more than just proud moms and dads, brothers and sisters. They're graduates of Auburn University, and today you join their rank. An amazing group of over 233,000 men and women who have graduated from the Plains. Engineers, researchers, scientists, wildlife managers, foresters, generals, astronauts, teachers, doctors, lawyers, everyday people who spend their day living their lives in service to their families, their God, their country, their fellow man, and of course, in service to the university. Now, what do you now have in common with them? First, you share a diploma, evidence that you have received one of the finest educations in the country. Second, we share a set of core beliefs: hard work, education, honesty, a sound mind, a sound body, a spirit that is not afraid, a belief in the human touch, beliefs that I hope you have learned on your journey to adulthood. And third, I hope we all share a pure love for our university that extends past this graduation ceremony. Wherever you go and whatever you do in the years to come, remember that Auburn has played a role in preparing you for your future. Graduates, I strongly encourage you to begin giving back to Auburn as it has given to you. Become connected and stay connected with your respective colleges. Become a member of the Auburn Alumni Association. I encourage each of you to be intentional about staying connected to your Auburn family and work for the betterment of Auburn. You can visit the Auburn Alumni Association website and start your connection there. Wherever you go, wherever you end up, there's an Auburn club, 94 of them, to join and connect with other Auburn alumni and friends in your area. Come back for games. Remain engaged in your respective college. Serve on a university board or advisory council. Yell out War Eagle to people you see wearing orange and blue. And when you get that first paycheck, consider beginning a lifelong habit of giving back to Auburn. But do something intentional to stay connected. Why? Because that is what we share. Why? Because this fosters the Auburn spirit. Why? Because this is Auburn. It's my hope that each one of you will always believe in Auburn and love it. Congratulations. God bless you, and War Eagle.
Thank you, Mr. Britton. As we conclude our ceremony, I'd like to take a moment to recognize those who have made this day possible. Please join me in thanking Auburn University's graduation committee and all those who have worked to make this graduation commencement ceremony a success. And finally, graduates, thank you. Thank you for choosing Auburn University. It has been our pleasure to serve you as mentors, as educators, and as friends. We truly wish you the best in life in your future endeavors. You may now turn your tassels to the left. Congratulations, and War Eagle. We'll conclude our ceremony with the singing of the Alma Mater, led by Tyler Davis Piltz. Would everyone please stand and remain standing until the platform party, the faculty, and new doctors have recessed from the arena. Students, you can drop off your cap and gown as you exit to your right.
On the rolling plains of Dixie, 'neath the sun-kissed sky, proudly stands our alma mater, banners high. To thy name we'll sing thy praise from hearts that love so true, and bless